Yes, I am.
How and when did you meet Althar, your dragon, and what was that experience like?
Oh, that was a very strange experience when it started. I would say it started around 2012 when I had the first dragon-like experiences. And it started physically, like having the feeling to grow wings or even a huge tail. And it was kind of weird. I noticed this, but did not make too much out of it. Then it took a while until 2014 when the night before the second threshold I attended started, that Althar came in. And actually, he came not alone. There was a whole swarm of dragons that I, in a sense, saw in the physical. And one of them came directly to me. To me in the sense of into my body and all around me. And this experience was super intense because usually, so often you have experience like those wing stuff or the tail stuff. Was kind of in other dimensions. But that experience was real. It was in this dimension. And I could even see, in a sense, the shape of the dragon all around me. And it was brilliant. It was high energy, highest energy I've ever felt in my whole life. And I have to say I had some weird experiences before. But that was really high energy. It lasted for almost 2 weeks, this sensation. That was the way I came across Althar.
Great. And what is the dragon? I mean, what are the energies? What's the purpose? What exactly is the dragon?
Yeah, what is the dragon? I refer to my true self as the absolute, to the human as the relative, and the dragon is the mystery in between. And I'll also call it, or Althar calls himself, a bridge in consciousness. And that's what he is. He is, in a sense, a remembrance of who you truly are. And the purpose is, of course, he is the ultimate companion for the final steps when you go into full enlightenment.
Ooh, that's really well put. Good. And is the dragon, and of course we all have our dragon, is the dragon physical?
No, not at all. Dragon is non-physical. It's an entity that is as close to pure consciousness, to the true self as possible. It has kind of a body, so it can dive into this reality or come close to the human consciousness, put it that way, but it's not physical. And it was never incarnated in that matter. Dragon is an observer, mostly. And when the time is right and when the human asks for it, then the dragon comes close. Then the dance begins.
Why does it come as a dragon instead of a wolf or an angel or eagle, maybe a guru? Why does it come as a dragon?
Well, the dragon is many things, and it is perceived differently from human to human and even from culture to culture. Like in some areas, you have dragons with wings or without wings. Some have 2 legs or 4 legs. So it is not a creature, as you would say, an eagle or a wolf, but it is I call it a fabrication of human consciousness that assigns a certain shape to a certain quality it perceives. And I would assume that the humans have agreed a long time ago how to visualize this energy or this presence of a dragon, and they put it in those dragon-like shapes. But the dragon himself has no form. It changes constantly. It can have any size. And it certainly does not look like a dragon is depicted in classical images.
And do you think dragons ever roam the earth in physical form, or is this really more kind of in the other realms?
As far as I know, the dragons have never been incarnated. But in the end, it boils down to the question, what is real? For, as I said, when Althar came to me, I, in a sense, perceived him all around me. And if you are very open, then of course you can perceive the dragon, call it energy, say in nature, but it's not physical in the sense like an eagle is physical or a horse is physical. So I'm not aware of any true dragons, but of course there have been creatures in the past that kind of resemble what a dragon is depicted.
And what are the Shambra misconceptions, or what we call Makio, about the dragon?
Oh, that's difficult because Shambra is a very diverse breed, I would say. In the workshop I did not come across much Makio, and that was very much to my delight, because when I released the first book, I really feared that the theme of dragons could become a huge distraction. And personally, this is the least I want to do. I want to help clarify and make things simpler and not spread distractions and illusions. So I was happy that in the encounters I had with people in my workshops, I did not encounter much Makio.
Well, let's say from the point of view from social media.
Yeah.
I personally have noticed a quantity of Makio there about the dragon.
Well, typical Makio that could be, and not following too much the social media, is of course like I tamed my dragon, or say the dragon helps me to fulfill my human wishes, which is absolutely bullshit. and what you might see a lot, of course, is my life got crazier than yours because my dragon is better or more intense or anything like that. So it's all the human stuff that comes in, which is enhanced by the dragon, magnified, and then taken in a sense literally. But it's vice versa. All what the human or what the dragon points out is for release. So if there's the assumption that something gets bigger or more prominent, well, this is the thing to release and not to make a big fuss out of it. Even though it might be turmoil and overwhelming for a while, but it's not good to make that even an ambition to have the biggest turmoil in life. It's more interesting to get rid of that stuff.
Well, sometimes I see like the dragon is, the new spirit guide, and
no, not at all.
On the point of some of the stuff I've seen on social media, okay, they treat it like the new spirit guide. It's like no. It's no. We're not just replacing one thing for another.
Let's put it that way. The dragon does not care a bit about the human facet. Not at all. It is about going beyond the human facet. And the dragon is a representation of the true self. It's a mirror. It shows you what you think you are. And whatever you think you are is a false identity. So get rid of it. It's never about enhancing anything in human life. But as a consequence of being open and honest with yourself, you might realize that your life becomes simpler, even more fulfilled. There might even be more synchronicities. But this is not the goal of having the dragon. This is just a byproduct.
I think it's such an important point that it's not made to perfect or enhance the human, but as a result of the dragon, the human's life just becomes more graceful.
Yes, and a very crucial point is really to deeply, deeply understand that there is nothing to perfect. And this goes against each and every socialization of the human, because whatever a human does when he grows up, he has to learn to achieve something by doing something. And you do nothing with the dragon. You allow the dragon to be in your presence and to let go of everything that shows up. You do not get better with your dragon, not at all. And the moment you really understand that, then you make a huge leap towards enlightenment. Otherwise, you're just doing the same old stupid dance with, I get better, I get some acknowledgement, some confirmation, some whatever. It's a human dance and it's boring. And
one of the things I noticed with the dragon, one of the first human side effects was a maturity, that with the dragon roaming around in there, it just brought a certain level of maturity.
I would go so far as to say that the dragon only comes in if there is a certain maturity. If it's not the case, then there might be kind of experiences, real or made up. Differences are fluid always anyway. But the true dragon does not come in for immature or immature human. Simply not. Why would it? To the immature, it does not make sense at all. It would just be blown away, and no. Don't think so.
So, as you know, the dragon's been an essential element in the threshold workshops from nearly the start,
Yeah.
uh, and you were part of those also. Why do you think Adamus waited to bring the dragon to Shambra until Pronos 2019, or even better put, why do you think he even brought it up in Pronos 2019?
Well, because after so many years, it's time for the real thing. Quite frankly, there has been a lot of preparation, a lot of time has passed by, people get older even, and a lot of them came to the point where they are ripe for the dragon. I said it makes no sense to bring that level of clarity in if the people are not right. They will just not get it, not listen to it, just not hear it, and then it's gone. And there's one truth: the most simple truth can only come at a certain point, because otherwise they are dismissed. And if they're dismissed once, then they rarely get a second chance in the same lifetime. So it's wise to wait with the simple stuff to the very end. And in a sense, the dragon is the utmost simplicity, because it wants just nothing at all, which is, well, mimicking your true self, which just is in beingness, without agenda. So that's the reason why I would say Adam was brought it into the whole of Shambra, not just to the Shambra, to the threshold attendees.
Right.
And it was high time. It's always high time to do the real thing, to get as clear as possible and as present as possible.
Chris, so much of your work, your realizations in the last number of years have been about the dragon. You're kind of the dragon master, in my opinion. So how did you feel when you heard Pronos 2019 and all of a sudden Adamus is talking about it? I mean, it should have given you a big sense of joy and knowing that you've been really on the right path?
Yes, and there was one phase when I did the first book, Althar, the Crystal Dragon. It started out as what I would thought were personal messages, and at some point it switched, and Althar said, "Listen, this is not personal. This might be interesting for many people, and the reason is." I tell you, the dragons are coming back, and not just a few, but in legions. And when he said that, I said, what the hell is this? I mean, this is a personal message from me, and now he's telling me things like that. And I said, yeah, it's interesting. Okay. I was close to cut it out of the text for it, but I thought, well, predictions are always a difficult thing to do. But I left it in because I felt, well, there might be some that have experiences just as I had, and having some reference could be very helpful. So I kept it in. And then when Adamus came in with a Prognos 219 and stated more or less the same, I was happy, I have to say. Yes, I liked that very much.
Yeah. Well, what are the three most important things Shambra, our readers here, should know about the dragon?
Oh, the three. Okay. So I would say, first, the dragon represents the one and only relationship of importance you have right now. And this is the relationship with yourself. So the dragon comes from you, for you. It is you, so do not fight it. Very important. Huh? The dragon is you, don't fight it. And it's the most important thing. Then the second, I would say,
add to that, not just don't fight it, but allow it.
Allowed, and with no fight it. I mean, if the shit comes up, it's not the dragon's fault.
Right.
Then second, the dragon is not here to enhance any human characteristic. Instead, it's going to assist and to go beyond any human limitations. And the third most important thing is that the dragon is not a one-time encounter. The dragon goes deep and shines light on everything. So one should never expect that the dance with the dragon is done. You will know when it's done for sure at a certain point, but unless you are absolutely real about that, do not expect it is done. And therefore, it's important to really take it slowly, to not race through this, and to take time for rebalancing. So this, I would say, are the most three important things.
And that's something Adamus talks about extensively in The Threshold, is that the dragon is not a one-time thing. When you're conscious and aware of the dragon, that it's going to be with you for a long time. You'll eventually totally be integrated in with it. But it can come and go. You'll forget about it, and suddenly it's back. So yeah, it's definitely not a one-time thing.
Yeah, it's you, and you will never leave yourself. How could you?
Exactly.
And this is, in a sense, it is the call home. And if you are sincere, and I assume most people reading this are sincere, then it will always knock again on your door when you're falling asleep. That's what you've asked for. Otherwise, it wouldn't do that. And it doesn't even knock, say, consciously. Yeah, now, like the dragon doesn't do anything actively. It's just there, and by being present, by being there, all the complicated stuff, the attachments, the old patterns, they are highlighted. They come to the forefront, and then you can see, and then you can let go.
Great. There's currently 4 books in your series. And am I pronouncing it right? I would say Althar, but you say Althar?
Yeah, it's true, Althar.
Althar, the Crystal Dragon, Althar, the New Magi, Althar Towards Utopia, which I'm reading right now, and Althar, The Final Letting Go. Is the series going to continue?
Yes, there will be a 5th book, and the title of the book will be Opus Magnum. And in that version, in that 5th volume, Althar explores very deeply how consciousness and matter bonded, because this is a crucial point when it comes to embodied enlightenment and shifting the consciousness from the physical into the light body. And there was a really heavy process involved in making an entity believe that it is physical. Entity, of course, is not physical, but therefore there had to be some drastic measurements to be taken so that an entity finally believes, well, I am physical, so that all the experiences we have here leading to ascension could come about. And undoing this is very delicate. That's the reason why most people either die when they get enlightened, or leave the physical body because they have no interest in returning, or in a sense they fall back into their normal human mode, and then say enlightenment is kind of a memory and not really omnipresent, always present. Undoing this is not easy, and it will be discussed to a point in the 5th volume. Also there he will connect the number of dots that he has laid out in the preceding 4 volumes. And then I think this will be the last volume. At least I want it to be it, for a very simple reason. This is not meant to be a never-ending story or a stream of spiritual popcorn, anything to entertain the spiritual searcher. It should be a brief and succinct kind of handbook in a modern language that describes what this is all about, what is going on, how consciousness creates in the first place, how we come to Earth, how we go back, and why we are even doing this. And this can be very succinct, and I want this to be close. And Althar at least confirmed to me that with the 5th volume, everything that he assumes and others that are with me on this journey, that everything is said that is really helpful on a general basis for literally anybody reading it. And of course, there are always personal things that might be hindrances for a given person, but on a general basis, everything that is of importance and really helpful should be covered in that 5th book. And from there on, there might come more like clarifications or restatings or something like this, but no new information that is, in a sense, crucial to know about. So there's no excuse left, no missing piece, no nothing. It's all about you.
So from the very start, Tobias and then Adamus have talked about this thing called new energy.
Yeah.
And they've said that new energy, which currently does not exist anywhere, new energy is when consciousness and energy fuse together instead of being 2 separate things. So it almost sounds like this next book is approaching into that?
Well, you're just reading, as you said, the Towards Utopia. There I talk about fluid light, and this is a term I use. What happens to what I call pure energy after ascension. Pure energy is the crystallized consciousness in a sense, but this has a scent of polarity to it, because true self didn't know where it came from. There's a question mark. Who am I? So there's polarity in the pure energy, and with enlightenment of the human and then ascension of the true self, this changes. This pure energy, in a sense, goes beyond itself, and I call it then fluid light, and you could call it new energy. It changes all of its characteristics. The internal fight ceases, and you have a new form of energy or consciousness, or however you want to call it, that you create with.
Great. Well, thank you. You're amazing. Your books are amazing. I've never read anything that has that level of clarity and just gets right to the point. But there's also a huge energy attachment that I can feel as I'm reading your energy that's in each and every one of the books, kind of providing a guidance and keeping everyone within clarity as they're reading.
Yeah, and I have to say, I wouldn't call myself a channeler, because this is really a co-creation of the three of us, of my true self, of Althar, and of me. So I'm here as a human to bring this into human words, bringing in my experiences, but then I express from the perspective of Althar or of Awa, my true self, and this three together makes it, well, a very nice journey and very interesting to do this kind of work.